Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Try Not to Grin. We are continuing looking through our weirdo Discord family, in which we are just trying to get away from the craziness of the world right now. We know it's the fucking dopest shit thing. Last time I kind of pulled you guys into it again. It's supposed to be escapism, but hey, here it is. What do you call it? So there's right now, currently, this is probably going to get uploaded to you guys a fair bit after the fact, but what do you call it? Right now, in the current time where I am, it is like riots are like the top of the news. Riots, protests, peaceful protests, predominantly with a bunch of crazy riots. But I'm kind of really pleased, but Canada hasn't really been. Well, I shouldn't say that. My town, as well as towns surrounding us, haven't had like any sort of shit broken, which is good considering we didn't. I'm sure we did. I'm sure there's shitty cops in Canada as well, but we're not the. I don't know. I'm moving on. I was just like, hey, as much as it is freaky, it's just because we have like Canada has like a giant fucking window straight to America's backyard, and we're just like, oh my god, and it almost feels like it's like that close that we're like it's about to happen to us. But luckily, we're kind of okay. Even though I feel like Canada is one of those people that will be like, we're gonna protest too, because, that's not alright, that's not okay, which is true, but we'll make it our problem if it has to do with like social weirdness, but Anywho, funny memes, let's get into it. You telling me this shit jumps babies? 41 Strange says, this is a baby jumping spider. Fuck them kids. Jesus. And only funny because of the subtext. But anyways, the perfect movie doesn't exist. After losing his parents, the pastor travels to China, where he inherits a mysterious ability to allow him to turn into a dinosaur. At first, horrified by this new power, a prostitute convinces him to use it to fight crime. It has a 5.6 on IMDb. It has a 4 on whatever other platform, and it's an hour and 10 minutes of insanity. If the CG for the thing is as bad as I think it is, then who knows? But I'm wagering it's pretty fucking bad. Anakin, stop panicking. I don't have a panic-kin. I swear to God, I feel the brain cell just scream out as it died. Oh, your chances of getting killed by a cat are low, but never zero. Ooh, death coming for you. Is that a gnat? It's a gnat, not a mosquito. I will let you live for today, Nat. Being afraid of being afraid. Phobia. Okay. Jesus Christ. Feared. Even more feared. Escalation. Even more afraid of being afraid and of afraid. Has anyone, isn't that just called a hypochondriac? So it just keeps getting like more and more afraid. Or I got someone who looks into things that are like, it makes themselves afraid almost. Anyways, overreacts by a situation. Has anyone tried giving 2020 a Snickers? Because it needs to fucking chill out. And then flash freeze all over the place. Ugh. By the way, I'm not twisting my like nip or something. It's my necklace, all right? Yeah. For reals, a royal crown. Here, I'll trade you. It's a garbage can, and I hear you love those. Trash. I always feel like just the hearing the. It adds anything to just any sort of insult, even if it's bad, just knocks it up to an 8 of like, God, fuck, what? 2020 smacks 2012 in the back of the head, says, that's how you do an apocalypse, trash. Not only is it I don't want to go over it. It makes me upset and sad. I do like the meme where it's like when the dyslexic Mayan said, it's gonna happen 20 to 12. It's like, no, it was 2020, you psycho. What was the biggest threat of 2020? COVID-19? Carl Baskins? Murderous hornets? Riots? I still think COVID is up there just because of riots and all that and the crippling economy. But still the COVID's up there, but regardless, the 2020 is still young. Oh God. We're only like a couple months in, my dude. It could get real bad real fast. We're not even in November. Oh, we're actually almost halfway. Oh, that's a cup half full or whatever it's called. 2020 every second. But wait, there's more. Billy Mays, please. Somebody stop him. Billy Mays here telling you how this is just the beginning. Oh God. What if 2021 is just worse? What kind of a fucking nightmare? I can't believe Mario fucking died in the protests. It's the little things. I mean, the person likes getting tied up and shit. Out of all of the things that exist within the weird, like, you know, sexual weirdness, that has got to be the worst nightmare for me. I just feel like I like gnaw my arm off. I would just be, I feel trapped. I feel like I can't move. It would be the worst shit, man. Yee. Woman nearly decapitated after flying turtle smashes into a car windscreen. Luigi's like, fuck you, bitch. I'm out. Them damn turtles aren't built for what they used to be built for. When you bite a human, but he doesn't catch the plague. No. Okay. Had to slow down time. Step 1. Yeah. Yeah, a minute will feel like an eternity. That's not even that bad. I remember when I first started doing core stuff, I used to do, it's like, I'm sure you guys seen it, but it's like the trifecta for this. It's like you do a plank like this, plank like this, plank like on your side, plank like on your other side, for a minute, and then for on the sides, 30 seconds, which you work up to being a minute, which I got all those up to a minute. But then you end, the one that was the worst for me is when you're doing a plank, but you have to lift one of your legs up. That one, and keep yourself centered, that was so painful to me. All the other shit was pretty fine. But the one that's harder for this is when you do a plank, you keep your legs straight, but then you take one of your legs and you touch your knee with, then you go back down, then you do the other knee. But you keep your arms straight. It's you're having to squeeze this entire part of your thing to reach, click, straight back down, reach, click, snap back down. It's just... It just lights up your whole thing. You do that for like 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes. 10 minutes would be nuts. If you do that for just a good bit, you'll feel pain the likes of which you could not possibly imagine. Although when you start doing shit like that, like when you add movement to it, it actually does, I think, help time pass a little bit because you're actually having to do something, so you can kind of get into like a flow state. Anyways, yeah, bringing back weird memories from elementary school. Oh, these are just general things from like high school. Resting your head on a cold window. Okay, yeah, resting your head on the bus. Didn't take the bus, but on field trips maybe. When when this hits your ankles, if you had these, you were cool. No, for us it was the in my day, it was the pencils that were made of like some sort of like probably not good for you material where if like you touched it, it would change color. And you stop touching it, and it would go back to its net neutral color. But you would like finger it up, and you'd see like your prints locked on it. They're always at the fair. Dude, oh man, I used to be a real piece of shit in my one school, and to this day I look back and I'm like, that was not okay. But it was like a thing for like every year for me to grab like to steal something from the fair, which is not cool, so not cool, but. I used to, it was never something that was super big. It was like an eraser, but I was always just like, I never have enough money for this. Also, my parents are having really hard times, so I don't want to ask them for money for the fair, but I still want something, so I grabbed an eraser. Oh God, it feels so shit. It's so stupid. I could have just found I worked for like an hour and got $10 and been able to buy all the erasers. It was, I felt like a stupid, dumb idiot kid. Anyways. 2050 is as far away as 1990. Nope. Don't like that. Nope, please. Knock it off. That's a crazy thought. Damn. I kinda picked a bad year to get my shit together. Yeah. This is one of those years where people are like, this is not my year. And everyone's just like, it was not no one's year, dude. If this was your year, you had some shit wrong with you. You were like, your family had investments in the stocks that were like fucked up in so many ways. Like your parents invested in a company that like profited off of lying to people. Some shit. And again, there's actually, you know what? Fuck that. This year is pretty good to get your shit together. That was one of those memes I actually appreciated. That it was like there's gonna be 3 kinds of people that come out of the coronavirus: people who are shredded, people who are fat, people who are become like Buddhist philosophers, and all these shit. Like there's a bunch of these people. There are people who either are gonna like let this eat them alive, or there are gonna be people who just like, again, this is like the coronavirus was their thing to say, hey idiot, You're going to die if you keep smoking cigarettes. You're going to die if you keep eating whatever you want. You're going to die, or like, you're going to harm, not even you dying, because a lot of people don't, I mean, a lot of people are so self-destructive that that's not even a negative to them. You're going to let the people that you love around you die because of you. Now get your shit together, at least health-wise. You don't have to be like to have the best job. You don't have to have anything like that, but just take care of yourself at the very least. And therefore, other people around you will also benefit from your being healthy, because you can be there for them and all these things. So that was one people's like get your ass in gear kind of thing. And then the pandemic also, as much as people did lose a lot of their jobs, people also have had the motivation to be like, okay, well, maybe I should try to follow my dream. Maybe I should try doing that now. Maybe I should try pursuing this, and because now I have this time off where I'm working at home, so I can get my stuff kind of done faster, or whatever it may be. But there were two things that stood out to me in this whole year that I thought was pretty interesting, and is like as like a motivational thing. And one of the things that to me was really powerful, I was listening to a podcast with Kevin Hart and Joe Rogan, and Kevin Hart talked about his like this kind of like interesting mindset / mantra to think about, which is think of your life as a story. And I know it sounds cheesy, but truly, like, take away all the bullshit. If you were to write your whole life up to this point, how would the story be? And I thought about that, and I thought, there's some aspects of that make me sad. I'm like, oh man, take a person who's in like the worst case for the coronavirus or whatever. Is my story going to be that I infected my parents, or that I ate chips all the time, and I didn't exercise, and I didn't really care for anyone else, so that I was alone. I didn't put myself out there at all, so that in this time when the world is burning around me, I have nobody. Is that the story that I want my life to be? But the best part about a story is until you croak, the story keeps going. So is this story going to have a fucking badass comeback story, or is it going to just keep getting worse and worse and worse? And the only person that can change that is you. You write that story. So to me, I was like, that's a pretty damn motivating thought process. It was okay if my life is some sort of sick story, and it had a really shitty nightmare start. Well, at least I can make it have a comeback story like you've never seen. I'll make it the most fantasy, whatever kind of story that would just be beautiful to listen to. That's hella motivating to me. Oh, what the other one was, this is kind of cheesy, but the other one I seen in the last episode of, the episode I watched of Demon School. Welcome to Demon School, Irma is what it is. Listen, you gotta get all your life lessons or the fuel to push you forward from many different sources. But anyways, in the episode that I watched of that show, the main character is confronted with like crushing despair. And the main character throughout the entire show has, and his whole life had been like just crushed. Like the whole world was against him. Like he just, everything that could go wrong in this person's life did. And then the whole show is based on him like starting to like find people that gave him an edge and gave him a chance, and then like his life got tremendously better. But anyways, he's faced with this kind of villain that is like the beacon of despair, which was his this beacon of despair, and he wants to see Irma's face after he tells him all of the horrible things that he's done and that he's going to be a part of. And Irma, what do you call it? He has this moment where he says, and it's one of the things that it's like a part of the same sociology that I've always liked, which is the idea of no one is coming to save you. That it's like a cold but light a fire under your ass kind of thing, which is no one is coming to save you. And in the show, he kind of echoes in a different way, which is, okay, so what is there for me to do? Just give in to despair? Well, then if I give in to despair, then nothing else will change. Like, then I will always be here. So the only thing I can do is to try to fight for joy and try to move on and fix things the best I can. But I'm sure as hell not just going to sit here and accept despair, because that nothing will change if I do that. Like you sitting there being empty and sad and hollow does nothing. As much as it is, I understand. I understand how people can feel so down, and you can feel like you're just drowning in despair. But it is a cold fact that doing that will gain you nothing. And it's if anything, just the idea of moving is something. It's something to get you to a place where you can maybe be okay. But it kind of, in that same show, it made me love the show even more. Welcome to Demon School, Irmaka, because to me it's just like it echoed that same thing of like, okay, well, say you've been through some horrible fucked up shit. Well, same thing as rewriting the story. Is this where your story ends, or is this where you want your story to go, or is it going to be a comeback story? And I kind of like the idea that it's going to be a comeback story, or I like the idea that you were the person that didn't give in to despair. You were the person that realized despair is nothing. If you give in to despair, then you will continue to be in despair. The only time you can choose to get out of despair is by choosing to not exist and be in despair anymore. And that is knowing full well that the world can keep piling on. But again, especially in this moment where the guy, literally like the main character in the show, burns his fucking hands and like maims himself with a smile on his face because he knows that it's pointless. It's pointless to just give in to despair. And yeah, I like the show a lot. I can't wait to see where it goes. Anyways, this was a weird left turn, but it became a little bit of a let's talk in the middle of it. But it's been kind of hard for me to gain my thoughts throughout this whole pandemic weirdness and just like the insanity of 2020. But those little things, I always feel kind of blessed in that sense of like, for whatever reason, when I'm like utterly empty and lost in the world, a video will pop up into my sub box, a podcast will appear, my parents will have a weird conversation with me, my brother will say something weird that sticks, and I'm like, oh, that's enough for me to weather the storm, you know? That's enough for me to find my way out again, which is nice. And maybe you guys feel similar beat to me when it comes to stuff like that. We got some powerful guardian angels or whatever, or maybe just dumb luck, but even still, appreciate it nevertheless. Other countries fighting coronavirus, the USA. The USA doing the race war side quest. Shit. As one of those things with this whole riot and protesting and peaceful protesting, that's also happening is that it's just like, it's like the coronavirus is gone. It's like, no, people, it's going up. And with the whole idea of peaceful protests and all these consolidation of people, people are like, it's gonna have 10 days. We're gonna be able to see what the fuck went down. Especially a dude like that's. I was talking to my mom, and she was saying that when she goes uptown to get like groceries, she sees so many people without wearing a mask, and I'm just like, oh, come on, people. We have like 6 cases in our 12 cases in our town now pending, which, you know, Canada. What do you want? I mean, yeah, it's only 12 cases, but it could get worse. All right, 12 cases could turn into 1,000 cases. Be careful. Wear a fucking mask. Jesus Christ. At this point, Canada is actually giving out masks. They're like verified masks. Weird. Big Burger should be wider, not taller. I hate when I get somewhere and there's like, try our cowboy cut 1/2 lb extra thick big boy burger. And they bring out a fucking meatball between 2 ass cheeks, expecting me to unhinge my jaw like a snake to take that meat log they put before me. This man's rhetoric is too much. Okay, but yeah, I think that'd be great. But also, when you see like a lot of those, that's when you know you fucked up, is when you see like people eat stuff fast, when they like cut, like they rip a chunk out of it and then they just squish it down into like nothing and then they just like suck it down. Ugh. A lot of those eat fast videos are like nuts. Dude, I was watching a video the other day where I seen this like little Asian woman eat like a whole fucking table worth of food and be like, it was delicious. And I'm like, I don't mean to do it, but I feel like you've got to throw that up. Like, you have got to end the camera and then just fucking make yourself puke. Not because of like you hate your looks, but just because you have to exude that level of food. Did I just see a spider? If I just seen a fucking spider crawl across my lower desk, I'm gonna be upset. Anyways, last meme. Time travelers. Hey, what year is it? Me, 2020, time traveler. Has it happened yet? Me. What? Time traveler. The disaster. Me. Do you have the slightest idea how little that narrows it down? Because it's fucking a lot. Although, not really. It's the, what do you call it? For me, it's the protests and Corona. What do you call it? And the fires, maybe, at the beginning. But I don't know. The whole, like, what do you call it? What was it? The Hornets. You know, I'm not sure about that one. That one, it seems like, I don't think it's a disaster. It's shitty. Real shitty. But I don't think it's, well, we'll see. Knock on wood. It could get real bad real fast. Who knows? But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. A little bit of ramble in the middle of this. Most people will miss it, which is good. Because I don't think I have any sort of preachiness or any sort of good advice, honestly, most times, if any times. Just try to do my best here with me, myself, and I. And yes, thank you so much for your time. I gotta find out what to stream today. That's my next couple hours. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And good subscribe button over there, as well as 2 videos. Also, there is a Twitch button down below if you want to go ahead and follow me there. I would never really shout that out, but we do stream every Saturday and Friday and Saturday. Yes, please come stop by. Let me hear about the craziness of the world from your mouth, from the horse's mouth, or the beautiful majestic horse in his mouth. Thank you and goodbye.